Hey, you guys, Chad Weber here, and today we are going to talk about the coronavirus, how it impacts your business, what you can do about it. So I have some really neat things lined up for you here today, but I just want to let you guys know that in the coming days, weeks, and months, I'm going to be popping out several of these videos each week over the next month or two, each with some tutorials, some how-tos, and some advice on how to keep your business humming along, because I know, and I'm getting a lot of and hearing from a lot of panicked loan officers right now, business drying up. But at the same time, on a positive note, guys, I'm also hearing from the top producers, really, they're saying they're not feeling a burn. They're not feeling a pinch. Their pipelines, in fact, several of them stating that their pipelines are bigger than they've ever seen, because there's so many individuals that were stuck, just about ready to do something. And then boom, suddenly this happens. Well, now their plans are put on hold. Guess what's going to happen when things go back to normal? Right? They are ready to rock and roll. So you could definitely survive and even thrive despite what's happening. And I know there's a lot of sad stories and a lot of terrible things happening to people, but what we got to do is we have to prepare and find a way that we can do two things at once. And at this point, the two things that we want to do is we want to step up and do good for our community. But at the same time, we also need to look out for ourselves and our family and make sure that we don't suffer as well. We want to do what we can to protect ourselves and our businesses too. So we could do both things at once. They're not mutually exclusive. So what I'm going to do today is I want to talk about some of the advice that's been going out there that's unfortunately is very easy to misconstrue. One of them is, here's an example of an article. Twitter actually sent out the advice to brands that they basically toggle back or even silence their mainstream, their primary ad campaigns, and instead focus on having one-to-one discussions or social level discussions and engagement with their audience. Adweek also put out an article called Brand Quarantine, How to Survive a Brand Quarantine. And basically, again, states that a lot of the big advertising studios, that's what they do, is they shut down during times like now. And a lot of loan officers read this, and unfortunately they misconstrue that. They misconstrue that and think, okay, well, that's what I need to do. I need to shut down my marketing. But I want to point something out here. When we're talking about brands here, Adweek and Twitter, they're primarily talking about national and international level brands. We're talking about billion-dollar companies and corporations, guys. Right? So do we think that the same advice for, say, a Nike, a Pepsi, a Bentley, BMW, Mercedes, is that same advice apply to you? Well, the difference is not just that their consumers are international, if not just national, but also that they tend to be luxury purchases. Do you think that the same advice for somebody that's advertising a $350,000 automobile is the same during a crisis is the same as somebody that offers something that tends to be essential and impending event driven? Individuals who tend to move, it's not the same decision as should I buy that $350,000 car or not. It's not a option for a lot of people. If I'm buying a home because my family just got too big because I have a baby on the way, well, that's not the same decision now, is it? Right? Crisis or not, when it's over, so long as my income is still there, I still need to make that move. What if I'm moving for a job that's 500 miles away? Again, I got to make that move. I have to make that move. What if I'm consolidating debt, which, by the way, might be a niche to look into when this blows over, is a lot of individuals who find themselves, I'm kind of in a pinch now. They're probably going to need to consolidate a lot of debt. Right. So there's a lot of people that are in this situation with a little forward thinking. You can prepare yourself, guys. Let's not shut off our advertising either. That's a lot of loan officers take the worst possible moves in a crisis. When things slow down, a lot of loan officers actually shoot themselves in the foot. Not just one foot, both feet. It's like, here, let me shoot the other one too. By toggling back, saying, I'm not going to spend any money on my marketing and on my advertising. I'm not going to do. Well, if you stop your forward momentum, what happens when you see that big boom of business just take off when things get back to normal for most people? That's typically what happens if you've been through a crisis before. Not all the time, but it tends to be what happens. So if you have no momentum, you have to start from scratch while you get left in the dust by the people who were forward planning, forward thinking, and kept their momentum going, kept investing in themselves, because things are going to get back to normal. When they do, you're going to need that business. So let's think about it from that perspective, guys. I'm going to give you some advice here on So the types of communications you should be having. I'm going to do that by showing you. Here's a great article I found called 17 of the Best Coronavirus-Related Social Media Posts to Inspire You. So how are brands reacting to COVID-19? Now, I recommend just coming back here and scrolling through the article yourself. But I'm gonna scroll down to some of my favorites. I'm gonna start off with a company called Vodafone, and I'm starting off with Vodafone. Yeah, they're a foreign company, but what they've done here is I think very, very smart. So Vodafone is a cellular services company, and what they've done is they've taken good critical levels of advice. So it's selfless type advertising, because we're not sending out an ad in this particular post. Instead, it's advice. And they were clever, because if you would have sent this out as just a few paragraphs stating the same level of information, how many people would stop and read it? But because they did it in the form of a eye-catching infographic, this is not just eye-catching, but it's shareable. So I love here the information. It's really good information. So we're all walking around with these little smartphone devices that are basically the equivalent of a walking trash can or toilet as far as how germy and bacteria infested they tend to be. So 600 strains of bacteria on a typical phone. When all we got to do to clean it is we just need a 40% alcohol, 60% water solution, and that's it. Let's think about, I mean, really, that's gross, isn't it? I mean, we're setting these things down throughout the day on different surfaces. How much bacteria are we picking up? You touch a wall, then you touch the screen of your phone. You touch your face, and you touch the screen of your phone. What if you sneeze? What if you sit down and set it on a seat? How many butts sat on that seat, and how much bacteria was transferred? You don't know what's touched their pants or their shorts or their skin. I mean, really, when you think about it, it's kind of cringy just going, ugh, yeah, that's right. I really should be. You let other people touch your phone. What have they touched? There's a lot of cross-contamination taking place there. And how many of us are wearing masks or disinfecting and social distancing, but yet we're touching these incredibly dirty devices. So do this on a regular basis. Look at that, 2,149 likes. And we got, what I really like is the communication. Look at that, 1,347 comments. Awesome. Now, that was back when it was posted. This article came out just a few days after it was posted. I wonder how many it's got now. So it's really racked up a lot of comments and engagement. Fantastic. Let's look at another one. Here's another good one. Boom, right here. Frequently asked questions. Think about all the questions that loan officers have. Not loan officers, but your customers have. Let's say that I just locked my rate. Well, if I'm not going to be able to close in the next 2 weeks, what does that mean for me? What does that mean for me? Are things just going to be extended? Am I going to get a free extension? Or am I going to lose my lock and now my rate's going to potentially go up? Or might it go down? What's going to happen? So why can't we answer that? Think about all the questions. If I just listed my home on MLS and was looking for another home, and well, now what? Open houses aren't being hosted anymore. I'm probably not going to be able to sell for several months if things don't come to a conclusion here pretty quickly with a solution. So what's that mean for me? What if I had a new construction deal going? What if I was in the middle of a debt consolidation or refinance? Think about all the questions, folks. Get inside the heads of your customers. And when you put these questions out there, you don't need to do this every day. Just sprinkle 1 or 2 of these a week. That's it. Just plan your week on a Sunday. I'm going to make these 2 posts on these 2 big questions that people tend to have. Why not? In fact, why not pull your database? Send an email out and say, hey, what questions do you have? Right? How about recent leads that you just captured? So people who were actually interested in doing something recently. Why not poll them? And then come up with your questions. And when you make your post, just like they did here, large font, guys, don't make a size 12 font post. The way you do something like this is use the colored post in Facebook, for example, and it will automatically blow your text up to a large size in a contrasting color. So, fantastic. That's a scroll stopper as well. And a scroll stopper just means it catches the eye so people stop scrolling and plowing through the post and read it. They at least take a look at it. Let's take a look at my favorite one down here. This is a really well done. Really well done. Okay, Life Buoy. So this is a public service message from Life Buoy. Please use the soap nearest to you, not just Life Buoy. Now, Life Buoy is a soaps and detergent company. And Here, they're telling their customers not just Lifebuoy, but use any soap like, and then they go on to mention their 3 largest competitors. Think about that. Think about that for a moment. How often does a company come out and make an effort to tell you to use their competition? This is what we call selfless messaging and selfless engagement. So they're saying, hey, you know what? It doesn't benefit us to tell you to go use our biggest competition, but we're going to do it anyways because that's what we need. Take a look at how they tie it in here at the end. Boom. Because washing hands with soap frequently can help protect from the coronavirus. Awesome, awesome message. It's simple, to the point, good advice, and it really, really gives you perspective on the company going, you know what? The message I take away from this is that, you know, we all need to focus on more important things right now. And that's, we just got to get rid of this thing. Right? So if we're telling you to use our competition or not, just use whatever's out there because we just need to get rid of this. Protect yourself. That's the important message. And the really cool thing is they probably use PowerPoint to make this. All you do is you upload a sound file, import a sound file to it. They use some animated images here. So you just move, it's just, 3 slides for the whole thing. They probably, you can make this for $8. For $8, you could duplicate something like this. Now, how would a loan officer use this? For me, I'm a big fan of uplifting messages. Now, there's a couple other message types that I would recommend, but I'm going to recommend those in another video because we want to stay on topic here. Uplifting messages. If you go to Google and type out uplifting coronavirus stories, neighbors helping neighbors during coronavirus, neighbors helping communities during coronavirus, companies helping their community during coronavirus, do those keyword searches and look at all the articles out there. There's so much positive information, but the people never get it. People are scared right now. So many people have been laid off, some temporarily, some long-term, some completely lost their jobs. So some companies have closed. People are scared. People are scared, and yet you go and you watch the news, and it's just negativity, 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 fear-mongering, whip the people up into a frenzy so we can get more clicks and keep you plastered to your screen. That sucks, guys. That's terrible. We don't want to be like that. You want to be that shining beacon, that light that steps up by sharing positive information. Show people the humanity. Give them something to put a smile to their face. How many times have you read something and said, man, I didn't realize how much I needed to hear that today? Because you know what? I was kind of in a really bad spot this morning. Yeah, I've been in that place before, and I'm very thankful, and I remember where I got that message. So, guys, if you want to get more engagement with your audience and you want to do something good, this is what I recommend. Just, again, don't overdo any one of these. Post a couple uplifting messages, 1 or 2 a week. Post a couple frequently asked questions, 1 or 2 a week, and then keep something relevant to the mortgage industry. Boom, that's it. That's it. Maybe share a home or 2. That's it. That's all you need to do. You don't need to overdo it. But this will come back to you 100 times fold, I promise. Just believe me, folks. When you step up and you set the example and you take the path that the others aren't taking, people recognize it. It earns you. When we talk about people buying from those they know, like, and trust, that trust is the key factor there. It earns you that trust. Going, man, this person really stepped up. Give people some tips on fun things they can do to entertain themselves during coronavirus too. Maybe sprinkle a couple of those in there as well. That's it. That's all you need to do. We don't need to overcomplicate this, folks. So I hope you take this to heart, put it into practice, and remember, guys, remain productive but also safe. All right, keep yourself safe and make it a wonderful day. And I'll see you in our next videos. Like I said, I have some more training and step-by-step strategies coming your way. All right, make it a good one. Bye now.